Like, how early did you start your application?
For me, I first decided to apply in 2020, but then I changed my mind. So I
Oh,
applied in
wow.
2021. So I was somehow familiar with all the things that I have to do. So when the application first started, I immediately did it.
Yeah, so I also applied in 2021 again. So it's the first time my application, which was not successful, of course. It took me, I think, about 2 weeks in total to reach out to references and like to arrange everything. But the second time was a bit shorter because I had the experience and I had some of the materials kind of prepared, and I just did some updates, and it took me, I think, 5 days for the second time. So it wasn't as long as it might be for others, but it can take some time. It depends.
Yeah, that's great context. I will say it's incredibly common for us to receive a Fulbright application a couple years in a row. So that's a great example of persistence is always key. Never, if this is something you'd like to do, we always encourage you to reapply.
I would recommend starting with the tests. The first thing to do is taking the test. I don't know if they're still taking the GRE or not, because in my year, I think it was not as popular
Yeah,
as
we're still doing.
in the previous years, yeah. But we had to take it anyway. So I started with the TOEFL, which was the first test I took. I think it was in February, right after the application the start of the application process. I also recommend the booking a date for the GRE as soon as possible because they fill up really quick. So do that as well. As far as the essays go and the recommendation letters, I would start with the recommendation letters, probably because you can't control people's schedules and availability. So I would say start with the recommendation letters after probably the same time as the tests. As far as the essays, it took me probably the entire application process period just to go over the content over and over and over again. I reached out to some previous Fulbrighters who are friends of mine as well, just to check up with them. I would recommend doing the same. Reach out to us if you need help. We're here to help. Just send us a few texts on Instagram or emails, whichever platform you're using right now, and get their feedback because they have experience in that matter. They will tell you how to formulate your essays in an accurate and concise manner. So do that as well, and take the probably entire period just to go over it time after time because it will never be refined on your first try because you'll need to go over it as much as possible.
As I said, I started the application like 2 months in advance because I think mostly because of the recommenders, because again, you cannot really control people's schedule. So you should like communicate with your recommenders and make sure they submit their recommendation letters before the deadline. And I think for the essays, I think it's very important to seek feedback on your application from like mentors, Fulbright alumni like us, or advisors at like your undergrad institution or something. It's very important to for other people to evaluate your work. So yeah, and I think you need to have clear goals and how they align with the Fulbright mission and the impact you hope to make one day.
Absolutely. All really great tips. I know a couple you've touched on the fact that letters of recommendation are included in the application, and nor the fact that you built in additional time to give those people time to write your letters is a great piece of advice. I would keep that in mind if the deadline's approaching. Make sure that you're reaching out to your recommenders in advance and giving them enough time to write those letters for you.